The amount of lying that we are seeing today, they are attacking everybody. They're attacking Jeffrey Goldberg. Now they're claiming, oh, Elon Musk and Doge are going to be investigating how he got into a Signal chat. Y'all, I got Signal. You add somebody from your phone. I'm sorry, this is not hard for us. Congressman Hakeem Jeffries, Democratic leader, dropped a letter yesterday calling on Pete Hegseth to resign. He joins us right now. Democratic Leader Jeffries, glad to have you here. Let's just be real clear. Peter Hegseth replaced a retired four-star general, a man whose resume that Peter Hegseth couldn't even carry. This man is an embarrassment, and now he's trying to say, oh, no, there were no warplanes, things along those lines. If you are the defense secretary and you have a group chat and the Secretary of State's on it, and you have the National Security Advisor, Director of National Intelligence, and the CIA, it is not hard to click and check to see who is all on this chat before you're having sensitive national security conversations.
That's absolutely correct. Hegseth is a complete and total fraud, which is exactly why I called upon Donald Trump directly to fire Pete Hegseth. If Hegseth doesn't have the courage to resign in disgrace and own up to the fact that he's way in over his head. He was never qualified for this position. In fact, he's the most unqualified person ever to hold the position of Secretary of Defense, one of the most important positions in the entire United States government, in fact, in the free world.
Here, I mean, this is not hard. They sort of did it yesterday. Made a mistake, move on. No, now you want to double down. Now you want to attack. Then you want to claim it was classified. Then you want to claim it's not classified. Then you want to attack the reporter. You want to attack the media. You want to attack Democrats. They screwed up. They screwed up. And now they're, oh, well, no, yeah, the signal was loaded. Now one reporter is suggesting that they gave a waiver to allow signal, which means that if that's the case, they are purposely trying to skirt Freedom of Information Act. They also do not want those records to be kept. They are purposely trying to break the law.
It appears that several laws have been violated, including the Espionage Act, and that's one of the things that Democrats are going to continue to press forward on as it relates to this investigation and the unfolding scandal. We're going to make sure people are held accountable. And there are a lot of questions that need to be answered. And what we saw over the last few days was just lies and evasion and attempts to deflect. This is the pattern that this administration has continued to engage in. We ain't going to let them get away with it. We are going to keep pressing the case on this. This is only the beginning. Here's the other thing, Roland. Pete Hegseth is the poster child for mediocrity. But at the same time, this dude wants to lecture the country about meritocracy. Are you kidding? Like, it's a laughable situation. He wants to erase and cancel Jackie Robinson's military history and record. He wants to erase and cancel the bravery and heroism of the Tuskegee Airmen, who were so skilled and gifted that other fighter pilots and bombers only wanted them to have their back when they were flying over Nazi Germany. He wants to erase that history. They want to claim that it's all about merit. It ain't all about merit. We believe in merit. Merit should be based on what you know. But instead, they want merit based on who you know. And because they think Pete Hegseth looks the part, whatever that means, they put this woefully unqualified person into the position, and now they're failing in real time.
We talk about unqualified. Here we got 4 United States soldiers missing for 14 hours. NATO says they were found dead. Hasn't been confirmed by the U.S. military. We literally have not heard from the U.S. military. And here is the twice impeached, criminally convicted felon con man, Donald Trump. This is when he was asked in the Oval Office about this. Listen.
About soldiers in Lithuania. Have you been briefed about the soldiers in Lithuania who are missing?
No, I haven't.
Have you spoken, sir, with the big...
Confused. If President Joe Biden had answered a question that he wasn't being briefed, they would say, who's running the White House? Who's doing what? This man is not working. How is it that you have 4 United States soldiers missing for 14 hours? And he's like, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Nobody has talked to me. And yesterday, he wasn't aware of the signal as well. I'm sorry. Who's running the country?
Perhaps Elon Musk, which is disturbing in and of itself. The whole thing is a malignant clown show. Emphasis on the word malignant because it's very dangerous. And what we're seeing is that the health, the safety, the national security, the well-being of the American people are at risk. The well-being of our troops are at risk. And this is extraordinary, but it was bound to catch up to these people. And it's catching up to them with record speed.
This is the excuse making to me is beyond belief. And let's just be clear. Your counterpart, House Speaker Mike Johnson. Oh my God, talk about gutless. I mean, and so it's just more excuses. The reality is that you do not have a party across the aisle that wants to keep this man in check. Thank goodness Senator Roger Wicker of Mississippi said they got a bipartisan call for an inspector general to do a report on what happened here. But the reality is Republicans in the House, in the Senate, they don't care. They want this man to do whatever he wants. There will be no accountability. And all they offer is a slew of excuses over and over and over.
That's right. By the way, they tried to fire all of the inspector generals. We had to sue, and judges had to reverse it because it was an unlawful action. And it's my sense, certainly, I mean, the House Republican Conference, forget about them. They continue to bury their heads in the sand. They think they work for Donald Trump and Elon Musk. Congress works for the American people. And so their sycophantic behavior, we expect that that's going to continue. But we will press the case. We're going to use every lever available to us to make sure that we follow the facts, we apply the law, we're guided by the Constitution, we expose these frauds for who they are, and then make sure that there is some accountability. Here's the thing. What the House Republicans are interested in at the end of the day, they've done nothing to make life more affordable, nothing to lower costs. Costs are going up. They're not going down. Inflation's going up. What's going down are the retirement savings of the American people. They're trying to gut Social Security, gut Medicare, gut Medicaid, gut veterans benefits, gut nutritional assistance for children and families. Literally, they want to take food out of the mouths of babies. Why are they doing all of this? So they can pass the GOP tax scam and give massive tax cuts to their billionaire puppet masters like Elon Musk. So we have to continue to expose what's happening on the Hill, push back into Congress, push back in the courts, push back in communities all across the country so we can win the hearts and minds of the American people and end this national nightmare as soon as possible.
On that particular point there, obviously midterm elections are not happening until next year. What we have going on, you got some gubernatorial races this year. You've got some constitutional amendments on the ballot in Louisiana this Saturday. The Wisconsin Supreme Court race is taking place on April 1st. You also, of course, just had a special election where a Democrat won a state Senate race in Pennsylvania in the district that Trump won by 15 points. You got people who are still sitting here saying, oh, my God, Democrats are not doing enough. What are you and others doing? On Monday, we live streamed the conversation between you and Ken Martin that was moderated by Reese Colbert. We live streamed that right here on the Black Star Network. Democrats are winning in these places. So this idea, and also you're only down 3 in the House. You got 2 special elections in Florida in some red districts. You got 1 in New York State. So I'm confused. This doom and gloom, everything is over. Democrats polling is at 29%. But what are you seeing? What are you hearing? And what do you say to those who just think that the world has ended and Democrats will keep losing elections for forever?
Yeah, I appreciate you bringing that up, Roland, because the reality is in all of these different arenas, we actually are winning. House Democrats outraised House Republicans in January. In fact, House Democrats had a record January in terms of our history in an off year. We outraised them by $4 million. Then in February, we outraised House Republicans again by $2 million. In fact, House Democrats outraised Senate Republicans as well, which almost never happens. At the same period of time, we won a special election in Iowa, a state Senate race in January. That was a race in a district that Trump had won by 21 points and a Democrat won by 4. That was a 25-point turnaround. Trump had literally just won that district by 21 points in November, just 2 months before. Then in February, an African-American won a special election for county executive in Westchester County, one of the suburban counties, swing counties, represented by a Republican in Congress, Mike Lawler. We did our thing there. Then, as you pointed out, Roland, we just had another special election in Pennsylvania, a district that Trump had won by 15 points, and a Democrat turned around and won it. And so the American people are rising up. Democrats are actually energized and turning out to vote. Republicans are the ones who are apparently demoralized. They're not turning out. And then swing voters, independent voters in these races are actually voting for the Democratic candidate because they know that we have a vision to build an economy that works for everyday Americans and to push back against these attacks on our democracy. And Republicans are trying to create a country of the billionaires, by the billionaires, and for the billionaires. And that's a totally unacceptable vision.
In addition to that, we're now seeing these news stories come out how Donald Trump is having food delivery trucks turned around. You've got food banks in Ohio and other places that are not getting food. I thought these people were pro-life.
Yeah, it's extraordinary. It's all phony. I mean, it's all phony. At the end of the day, what drives them is massive tax breaks for billionaires and wealthy corporations. All this talk about trying to make life better for working class Americans, that went out the door the day after they won. And now it's just an extreme agenda, dismantling the Social Security Administration in real time. Why would they go after our parents and our grandparents who rely upon Social Security to live? On average, $65 a day, but they're leaving Elon Musk alone, who's got $8 million a day in federal contracts.
Send out their check.
It's insane.
I'm glad you brought up Social Security. There's been a lot of conversation. We covered this the other day. You had the Commerce Secretary, billionaire, worth $4 billion, doing a show where he brought up if Social Security checks were late for his mother-in-law. This is what he had to say. This is Howard Lutnick.
Let's say Social Security didn't send out their checks this month. My mother-in-law, who's 94, she wouldn't call and complain. She just wouldn't. She'd think something got messed up, and she'll get it next month.
Yeah.
A fraudster always makes the loudest noise, screaming, yelling, and complaining.
Okay, I'm sorry. This man is worth $4 billion. Okay, let's be real clear. If I got $4 billion, my mother-in-law, unfortunately mine is deceased, she ain't waiting on a Social Security check. Let's just be real clear. But this idea that, oh, she wouldn't say anything, she would just wait for it next month. The millions of people that depend on that check being on time, how arrogant is this billionaire making a claim like that? And basically he's saying, if you're upset that your Social Security check is late, you're a fraudster.
My mother relies on her Social Security check. Her son is not a billionaire. And I can tell you that if that Social Security check is late, even a day late, she's on the phone with her congressman's son trying to figure out what happens, open up a constituent case. Why? Because she needs it, just like millions and millions of others all across the country. And by the way, Social Security is an earned benefit. People have paid into Social Security and Medicare throughout their entire lives. This isn't charity. These are benefits that they've earned and that they deserve, they've worked hard for their entire lives. And it is arrogance, as you've indicated. But what we've seen from this administration and the Pete Hegseth Signalgate scandal, national security scandal, is evidence of this. It's a combination of arrogance and incompetence. That's a toxic combination, and the American people are paying the price.
Absolutely. Last question I have for you, Congressman. A lot of folks have been paying attention to when it came to the CR bill. You and the Democrats held strong against that. Senator Chuck Schumer voted for that. Folks were speculating, and we've heard others say there needs to be a change. What is the state of your relationship with Senator Chuck Schumer? And can people expect to see that Democrats are going to vigorously fight this administration? I made the point, the guy who won the race in Pennsylvania last night, he ran a campaign where he went hard against Trump, against Elon Musk. People out there want to see Democrats fighting for what's right, fighting for the values. Is Senator Chuck Schumer up for this battle?
Yes, I believe so. We had a strong disagreement, and there's no sugarcoating that, and a different view about how to approach what we as House Democrats viewed as a reckless Republican spending bill that would hurt children, hurt families, hurt seniors, hurt veterans. And we rejected it because in our view, it was completely and totally unacceptable. And we were ready to aggressively push back and have that kind of public debate, discussion, fight, battle on behalf of the American people. Now, subsequent to that disagreement, Chuck Schumer and I sat down. I've known him for a long period of time. We both live in Brooklyn. We had an open and honest and candid conversation about the way forward. And though we disagreed about the spending issue, we do agree on the overwhelming majority of issues. And I think we're going to be in alignment on the fights to come, particularly as it relates to the need to save the health care of the American people and push back against and stop the Republican effort to visit upon the American people the largest Medicaid cut in American history, which is outrageous and disgusting and needs to be stopped.
All right, then. Well, Congressman Hakeem Jeffries, we appreciate it. And hey, again, you and Ken Martin sat down, and I'll throw this out. I would love to host in our studio. Y'all just tell me how much time y'all want to do it. You, Senator Schumer, and Ken Martin to have a conversation about the future forward for the Democratic Party. You guys let me know when we can make it happen.
Count me in. I look forward to making that happen.
All right. I appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Okay, man.
Hello, I'm Isaac Hayes III, founder and CEO of Fanbase. Listen to what I'm about to tell you. The window to invest in Fanbase is closing. We've raised over $10.6 million of our $17 million goal. That means there's room for less than 6,370 people to invest in Fanbase for the average amount. The minimum to invest in Fanbase right now is $399. That makes you an owner in Fanbase today. Go to startengine.com/fanbase to invest. Why? Because current social apps have taken advantage of users for far too long, with content suppression, shadow banning, harmful racist content, and no real tools for monetization and equity. Fanbase has over 1.4 million users and counting, allowing anyone to reach all their following and monetize their content from day one. Social media is the new TV, and whoever owns the apps that distribute that content have the opportunity to own potential billion-dollar companies. While big platforms with uncertain futures are failing to serve their users, Fanbase is stepping up to fill the gap. Don't wait until it's too late. Invest now, invest for yourself and your future. Go to startengine.com/fanbase and own the next generation of social media.